Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on the Rock Metal Podcast, we have CHLOÉ TRUJILLO and Rav Medic with a banger of a new single, Lightning Strikes Twice. Right now I'm being joined by CHLOÉ and Mark to share some more information about this track, what went into it, what's going on. So guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, yes.
Yeah. Good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anybody who can show me how to do whatever it is that you've done with this call is a pleasure.
I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park right now. It's really weird.
I know. It's great. The raptor's going to come any minute now. Sweet. Yeah, so this is fantastic. I was just looking back, Mark, because we have a relationship. We've been working together for a while here, and I was looking back at some of the bands that you sent me before in the past. Shadow Queen.
Those guys are good.
Yeah. And then just the other day, you plopped me an email and said, hey, by the way, lightning does strike twice. And here's proof of it. So take us through this track. How did we get from wherever it started in its point of origin to where you are now chatting with me here on my little show in Canada? Well,
CHLOÉ and I, who are both in Los Angeles, we got asked to do this charity show at a venue called the Troubadour, and like downtown LA, and we both had to send in like remotely like our music and our videos, and then we connected on social media and we listened to each other's stuff, and I was like, would you be interested in maybe we could do a collab together? And then from there I just sent her some guitar tracks, and she just sent back vocals, and then before we knew it, we had a song ready to go, ready to be mixed.
Before you knew it, you were playing tennis.
Yes.
Yeah, and
basketball.
We're sweating that day. Very athletic day. Yeah. That's actually the day we met in person.
True.
Because everything was remote. The Troubadour event was all remotely for every artist, and then we just sent each other. So he sent me guitar tracks, I added vocals. It was just via email. And sometimes I think a few phone calls, and we never actually met in person until we played tennis together.
Wow. Virtual song creation. Is that something that is new for you guys because of the pandemic, or is that something that you're,
For me, at least, totally new. Yes.
Yeah.
What was the most challenging thing about that?
What's weird is it wasn't really challenging at all.
I feel the same.
Yeah, because it just kind of felt kind of effortless, because I just kind of sent her the guitar and some drums, and while she was working on sort of melodies and vocal lines, I was kind of able to just go into a local studio and put down some bass and some synth, and it just kind of flowed together really smoothly.
To me, it's actually, it was the opposite of any problems. I think it went faster because there's no, when you get in the studio with other musicians, you always like chit chat, blah, 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 and you talk about things. And then by the time you start working, maybe an hour has passed. I mean, not everybody's like that, but this was like, I work on my own. I do this. I email it to Mark, and then he was doing the same thing. And it was like really I thought it was working a lot faster that way. No distractions,
Yeah, super productive. No farting around for an hour or two or three.
Exactly.
That never happens in a studio. Bass player shows up, if at all. All right. Drummers are always late. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you mentioned having some guitar tracks. I'm curious, like the campfire version of the song, was it like an acoustic guitar that you had an idea for, maybe with a vocal idea? How did it start?
I'm always kind of writing songs all the time. So I think for that one, I think I'd actually tracked the guitar for that one. So I had like an actual electric guitar, and I had just like a basic drum pattern. I sent her like 4 or 5 different ideas. Like I think a couple of them were acoustic. I sort of write everything on acoustic first. I'm sort of like, if it sounds good on acoustic, then it's going to sound good heavy, rather than the other way around. So yeah, I just sent her like 4 or 5 options, and she sort of leaned towards that one. And yeah, we just kind of kept developing it till it started to sound like a proper song.
Mm-hmm. How do you transition from the campfire tune to a heavy proper song? How do you make that transition?
Well, I think because I'm like a bass player normally, I'm very much, when I write my riffs, I probably don't write it like a normal guitar, so I kind of write it more like rhythmical, so I'm kind of thinking of the beat or the groove before anything else. So I think that's why even on the acoustic guitar, even though it's an acoustic guitar, I'm still sort of thinking
that's exactly how I felt it, because I picked that song, and I mean, there's other ones that I liked on there, but I felt you could feel the groove behind it, and that helped me tremendously to write the vocal melody and yeah, I mean, melodies, different patterns, and all this, because I really felt, not like it's your typical acoustic guitar track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because guitar players would tickle it, but a bass player would just handle it like a monkey.
Maybe because I'm also surrounded by bass players. So
I know.
Yes, it's interesting because bass players have a very different approach to the guitar. Well, generally speaking, most bass players are kind of really heavy-handed, just like because of the way they kind of play.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm like as well. I'm just kind of like hammering away at the acoustic. But yeah, it's a different approach, but I don't know. I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then, Chloe, you mentioned working on vocal melodies. Take us through that. How do you do vocal melodies, or how at least did you do it on this track?
Well, on this track, yeah, it's actually my approach personally when I work on my own songs is a little different. But on this track, because I didn't really know Mark, I mean, I never met him. He sent me this, and so the first thing I sent him was just sounds, basically, or syllables, improv over his track, so I could write a melody like this and see if he liked that direction, and then he liked it, and then I started refining those melodies, but no words yet, just syllables and sounds. Mm-hmm. And after we were all good and we had a structure down and some kind of arrangement, then I started writing the lyrics, all the words to the song. But yeah, so it's different. When I work on my own, it's sometimes I have lyrics already written, and then I write chords, and then I write the melody. Sometimes I have a melody that comes to me, and then I hear words to that, and then I'll write the music later. I mean, it goes a bunch of different ways, but I never have to do like this kind of improv over something that's already there. Mm-hmm. When I do my own things, because I write everything. So, but it was cool, and I'm excited for the second tune and the third tune that we're gonna do. It's it was fun, actually. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we've mentioned a couple of new tracks there. Did the process get easier once you got to know Mark, get to know each other's workflow? We're just about to start. So Mark sent me yesterday some new tracks and some new guitar tracks, and then I'm going to start working on it. But I think it'll be now we have. I think that first one was the test run, and I think now we kind of obviously know each other more, and we've gotten one song down, so I think it's going to get easier and maybe even faster as a process, or maybe not as fast because we're trying to refine it even more and make it even better. I don't know, but I think it'll be easier, at least for the writing part.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah.
And Chloe, when you were working on it, was it still like bare bones skeleton acoustic guitar, or were you working on it when it had already been heavyified?
Oh yeah, no, it was. I think that one was pretty bare bones. It was not. And then he sent me more like electrified or whatever you could call it, heavified. As we went along, and adding, more instruments like a lead guitar and, real drums and all this stuff. But yeah, I already started working on it at the very, very bare bone thing, like stage.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to lyrics, did you work on them by yourself, Chloe, or did you work with Mark on that?
By myself.
You were sad when you said that. By myself.
Well, that's all I've been here in this room working on music and art all by myself. This whole since the beginning of this pandemic, But yeah, I sent stuff to Mark, and if he had notes on anything, I would, we would share our thoughts, and we would go from there. It was actually a very smooth process. I mean, for me, it was. I don't know. I hope Mark agrees.
Definitely. Yeah.
Was there...
super...
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
It was super smooth, actually. It was it was cool. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Smooth criminal. Now, was there an energy that spoke to you, Chloe, as far as lyrics were concerned? I mean, how did you come up with the idea behind Lightning Strikes Twice?
Well, he actually named that little guitar. Like, Mark had little different names for all the little tracks, and he told me that I could change the titles just for him to have a reference, and I got actually inspired by that title. I was like, oh, Lightning Strikes Twice. Huh. And so that it came from there. Yes.
So I was debating whether or not to bring this up in the interview because it's actually kind of sad, but a couple of days ago, somebody here on a farm, their horses were struck by lightning. They had 2 horses and they were struck by lightning and they died. And I thought, that's kind of fitting. Lightning struck twice for that guy anyway.
It's terrible.
I know. Why are you laughing, Mark?
That's hard. Yeah. I mean, by Lightning Strikes Twice, I always viewed it as like it's like it never happens.
Yeah,
except for that guy.
I mean, technically, if you get struck by lightning in one spot, you can never be struck in that same spot again.
I know.
Well, I don't know if those.
We're just pieces of the infinite, Mark.
Yeah.
Another piece of the infinite. And then you mentioned you went into the studio and you got some real tracks done. So take us through that process. How did that happen? And I see that there are some additional people that popped in. We have Mr. Nick Oshiro and Mr. Robbie Cutting. What's going on?
Yep. So I've used Nick Oshiro a few times before. He does all his drums remotely. Also, he has like a D drum kit. Kind of like a hybrid type kit. So I just send him the guitar, click track, so he knows the tempo. I don't really send him any notes or anything. I just completely trust what he's going to do. And then he'll just drum. A couple of days, he'll send it back all mixed, ready to go. And then I went in and added some bass to the track, so just a local studio. And then when Chloe was getting a little closer with the vocals and the melody, I was like, it needs a little bit more or something. So I just put some basic synthesizer under the choruses. And what else did we add there? Oh, yeah, Robbie is from a band back in Australia called Chasing Lana. And he's a really good guitar player. And after the second chorus of the song, there was this weird little spot where it needed like a, I don't know what you call it, like a crescendo part there. So I was like, do you want to put a solo on it? And then he's like, yep, cool. And then he just, the same thing, just in Australia, he just tracked the solo, sent it to me, I added it to the song, and then it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to flip the phase because it was recorded in Australia. So when you bring it up to this side, it's upside down. So you flip the phase.
Yeah. I just flip it a little bit.
But this is a bad Australian job. I'm sorry. Cool. All right. So we chatted about the charity event at the Troubadour. We chatted about composing the track virtually. Several of the elements that went into that. We chatted a little bit about playing tennis and doing some athletic activities. So maybe take us a little bit more through the music video, because it's pretty serious stuff. You know?
Oh yeah.
Very serious.
We're like that. We're serious.
Super serious. It got the socks and we're panning up and everything. I'm like, whoa, and the music is coming in. And we got the eyeliner and the hoods up and the tennis rackets. I'm like, what sinister stuff is going to happen twice today?
Yeah.
I think initially it was supposed to be badminton.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, we kind of ditched that idea because it was kind of hard to find a badminton court.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went to tennis. And then I think Annie, the filmmaker, was like, well, what about basketball?
Yeah,
she
had that spot where we filmed. And Anne is the woman that made most of, all of my recent music videos. So I reached out to her, seeing if she wanted to help us out with that one. And then I had sent her Mark's idea with the badminton. And then slowly she talked to us about the spot that she knew, which was an abandoned basketball court in the middle of the state park in Malibu, and so that's where we brought in the basketball as well as the tennis rackets, and then from there we just played. She had like a drone person, so we were able to get these footages from like way high, and yeah.
Those drones are amazing. That's the first time I've ever used one of those.
Yeah.
They're incredible. They're so loud though. How loud were they?
They're loud.
I couldn't hear anything.
It's good thing you guys hit mute and put the track in there. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, especially those close up when you're playing tennis and that thing. You feel like you have a swarm of bees next to you. That's
got to be disconcerting. You know, you're trying to, show the world your art, and this thing is just a swarm of bees in one concentrated spot. It's just got to be. Listen here, pal.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. An abandoned basketball court. That's something to keep in your back pocket, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool spot. It ended up looking a lot like a David Lynch movie, I thought, which I love. So.
Yeah, that vibe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a kind of mysterious vibe.
Mm-hmm. And then, so we got a bunch of studios all coalescing together. Chloe, did you go to a studio to record, or did you record?
I recorded from right here. Okay. I have my mic set up right here. I have my interface and all my stuff, and this very laptop is where I have I use Logic Pro, and
you do Logic Pro. What? Boom.
That's what I do, and so I recorded everything from here, and that's what I've been doing for the past year. Doing everything from here.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, I'm trying to think. Sorry.
Nice, because you're like more independent, and you're not stressed on time, and you can just be on. Like I'm by myself, and I can just decide when I'm done and when I'm happy with it, or there's no pressure. It's just I kind of like it.
Yeah. Are you good at deciding when it's done?
No.
Okay.
Not so much. No. Because it's the same thing with artwork. You can paint, and you can always add more or, make something better. And at some point, but I had to learn to say, okay, this is done.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We've added Logic Pro X to the conversation. It's always It's always a plus. What? Okay, and then we chatted about Anne briefly. She makes music videos. She used a drone. It was like swarming bees. What else was there that we were going to chat about? I know that you guys are on the cover of Heavy Mag in Australia, so props for that.
Yeah.
Tell me more. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was really cool. Chris Peters, he runs Heavy Magazine. I've kind of known him for about 5 years or so. He kind of knew of my older band I had back in Australia, and he sort of heard about this new project, and he's like, hey man, I might have a cover spot available. And I'm like, yeah, that would be amazing. So it was kind of awesome. It was like the first song we released, and then we're on the cover, and it's like, nice.
Does that, I don't know, does that feel weird at all?
Like for the first song to be on the cover?
To just, release something. I don't want to call it willy-nilly, right? But you collab on something, release it. I don't know what kind of expectations you had, obviously, but then all of a sudden to just like, there you are.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was a little weird, but I think it was sort of like a culmination of everything that maybe both Chloe and I have been doing and kind of building up for a while individually. And it was cool. It was pretty awesome. So we did like the photo shoot for that while we were doing the video as well, and knocked it all out.
Groovy. And then set up some promo, and then you reached out to me, and I was so heartfelt by that.
Yes.
Groovy. Okay, one of my other questions is going to be, what's next? You guys have sort of dripped a little bit of teaser that there's some more stuff coming.
Yes. So Mark has been working on some, new ideas, and then he just sent it to me, and then I'm going to start working on vocals for that too. And if you want to talk more about it, Mark, because I know we have a drummer lined up, and going to get,
Same guy?
Yeah. It's a different guy. He was in my old band from Australia, and he's been wanting to do stuff together for a while, and I said, look, I've got a couple of songs that I think would be perfect for you. So he's really excited about it. He's an amazing drummer, so I can't wait to get him on there. So this new stuff, it's kind of a little bit more heavier, maybe I want to say. But I think now that I've done a song with Chloe and I kind of understand like her vocals a little more, I'm sort of like trying to dial in a little bit more of like her vibe, and that's kind of what Chloe was saying. The first song was kind of a tester to see how it went, and I feel like every song we do should hopefully just get better and better, and possibly heavier and heavier. It just keeps getting heavier.
You were on the cover of Heavy Mag. That's a promise that you've made to the world, Mark.
Yeah.
Has to be heavy. Cool.
You like it, that's good.
Yeah. Boom. Okay. So we chatted about charity show, composing tracks virtually. We chatted about Malibu skate parks and abandoned basketball places. We mentioned a guy who lost 2 horses to lightning. We mentioned Logic Pro. Mark laughed really hard, actually, when the guy lost his horses. What a jerk. And then we got some new stuff coming up. We chatted about tennis rackets instead of badminton rackets. I like badminton better myself, personally.
Yeah. I haven't played badminton in forever.
We'll have to do that, Mark.
Yeah.
We'll kick a shuttlecock around for a little bit. Get a drone to film it. It'll be sweet.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Did I miss anything, gang? Was there anything that we were supposed to chat about? Management said you got to hit these points, and I missed them. Is there anything?
No. I think they covered everything, right, Chloe?
I think you did a good job with covering everything.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, thanks for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today. And as long as the new stuff doesn't suck, we'll bring you back on.
Awesome.
Thank you.